Alshon Jeffrey kicking off our Bears Now mailbag. He says, is it possible that the Bears think Austin Booker and Jake Martin are good enough to not sign an edge? You know, I got a DM, I'm forgetting the guy's name, so apologies if you're watching, from someone saying, I really think Booker's going to be good this year. And look, he's got the measurables, the tools to be a good player in this league, but pass rushers, even the really high prospect ones, typically take a little time in the NFL, much less guys that went on day 2 or day 3. So, like, to expect Austin Booker to come in and hit the ground running, like, it's not impossible. It's just unlikely. Like, if he was a decent rotation guy this year, you'd be pretty happy. Jake Martin's had some success in the NFL. I do think he'll make this team. Can he be a starter, though, or even a number 3? I mean, I think he's more of like an edge 4. What's interesting is DeMarcus Walker is getting some reps at 3-tech, and I think he's a better pass rusher from the interior. Now, he's going to play some edge, obviously, and they like moving him around. I think that's his best role. Like, on a really good defensive line, ideally, he's like your 5th defensive lineman. Like, you got your 4 starters, and then Walker's your top backup. He can play edge, he can play 3-tech, you can deploy him in different spots and situations. But I think if the season started today, he would be your 2nd starting edge, and then on clear passing downs, 3rd and longs, you would kick him inside, slide Dexter over to nose, and then bring in Jake Martin as your sub-package pass rusher. I think that's probably what you would do. So I would still like to sign somebody, but maybe they think Booker or Martin can step up to the plate and give you some decent production this year. If the Bears sign a player, I promise you, we will make a video. So hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. Do not miss an episode here on Chicago Bears Now, as we will continue to keep you guys covered here on the channel. Jackson R., do you think TJ Edwards or Tremaine Edmunds has a chance to make a Pro Bowl? Absolutely. I think they both actually have a chance to make a Pro Bowl. I thought Edwards was Pro Bowl worthy last year, didn't quite make it. Edmunds has the ability to be that as well. So, yeah, in short, I think both have a chance to be Pro Bowlers. Edward, how are we feeling about or against our division now that we've seen the Bears in training camp? I mean, we're filming this mailbag Monday, so, you know, it's only been a few practices. Even if you're watching later in the week, you know, you're talking about less than a week of camp. So, you know, I don't think a few camp practices are going to sway me one way or another, but I do think it's positive early. Seems like Caleb Williams is off to a pretty good start. Matt Eberflus said a lot of the guys leveled up in their training. So, I'll say this. I don't think the Bears are at a clear disadvantage in this division like they have been the last couple of years. I mean, 2 years ago they had no shot. Last year, you know, they matched up well with Detroit. They should have beat them both times, split with them. Green Bay's obviously, that's more of a mental hurdle than anything else, but I think talent-wise they have enough talent to, at minimum, compete, if not at least split that series. And then they're more talented than Minnesota. So, yeah, I think they stack up well. I also think it's a tough division. Super chat from TJ. Appreciate it. He says, what is your expectation for Flus to be able to keep his job? I don't want to say playoffs with the rookie quarterback, but the Bears were hot at the end of the year. I'd like to see them start that way. Yeah, and that's been an emphasis early in camp. The defensive guys have talked about, like, hey, we got to start out quick. And I think it's been a big talking point. Like, listen, they were 0-4 to start last year. Their playoff chances were dead in September. Like, you have to get off to a better start. Doesn't mean you have to be 4-0. 2-2, it's fine. 3-1 would be great, but you cannot come out of the gates slogging around like you did last year. So I think more than anything for Flus, they just need to come out better, because 0-4 more than anything else is like, this coaching staff didn't have this team ready to play. I get they weren't a great team, especially to start last year and before the Sweat trade, but to come out the gates 0-4 and just shit the bed like that was disappointing. Martellus Bennett, Warren Sharp ranked the Bears as the 3rd-best wide receiver core behind the Niners and Eagles. Is that fair? Yeah, I saw the tweet, and I replied to it, and I basically said this out of these 3 receiving groups. One, I think the Niners' depth is the best, because they have guys like Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall. Their depth pieces are pretty good. Like, if Jennings is their number 4 receiver or Pearsall, That's probably better than any number 4 the Bears have. Like Tyler Scott looks decent early on in camp, but we haven't seen it. And I get Pearsall's a rookie too, but he went first round. Eagles, I think they have the best number 1 receiver. I think A.J. Brown's the best receiver out of these 3 teams. Now, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, they're in that combo. Brandon Ayuk's in that combo. But I would say A.J. Brown's the best receiver. And I think the Bears have the best trio. I think the combination of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze, obviously projecting a bit with Odunze, I think that's better than any other trio. The Eagles don't have a good number 3 receiver. They have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, very good duo, very good number 1, obviously. And, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel is a good 1-2 punch, but Deebo's got limitations with his route running, obviously, and I don't think they have a clear-cut number 3. So I think the Bears trio is the best on paper. So it's kind of what you're looking for. Here's the bottom line. Whether the Bears have the 1st best or the 3rd best or the 4th, top 4 or 5, you can throw the Dolphins into that mix. I think they were 4th on that list. It's an elite group. They haven't played together yet, but early signs are very positive. I think Keenan Allen's going to help Caleb Williams a ton. I mean, he just gets open so easily. He beats man coverage. He finds the soft spots and zones. You can't defend that guy. DJ Moore is going to give this team a lot of yak, and Rome gives you a lot of size. So it's a good group, and I think it's going to be the best, or at least one of the best this year. What do you guys think? Do the Bears have the best wide receiver core in the NFL? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. If they don't, they're very close. They're right there in the conversation. So curious to see what you guys think. If you want to save money, if you want to scale back on spending and create a better budget for yourself, do so with the Rocket Money app. We are sponsored by Rocket Money today. You can download the app at rocketmoney.com/Bears now. It is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of my expenses. And listen, I mentioned if you want to cancel a subscription, it's kind of a pain, right? Normally, you have to reach out to customer service. You have to offer an explanation for why you're canceling. Well, with Rocket Money, like you're seeing here, you want to cancel your DoorDash account, click on the app, click cancel, follow these steps. It takes 20 seconds, 30 seconds at most, and they handle it for you. They act as a middleman. That way you don't have to deal with those back and forth. Other benefits of the app, they will negotiate to lower bills for you. You can get up to a 20% reduction, which is awesome. And how about this? Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 per year when you use the app's full features. So take advantage of Rocket Money today. You might be like me. You got a young kid at home. You got a wife. You got a lot of expenses, house mortgage. You got to pick and choose what you're spending on, man. And it's easy to sign up for a subscription years ago and totally forget you're still paying for it. Like, I just bought the EA Sports College Football 25 game, got a PS5, realized I'm still spending on Xbox Live. Haven't played Xbox in a couple years, so lost out on some of that money. But hey, no longer, because I canceled it with the Rocket Money app, rocketmoney.com/Bears now to download today. With Dre Day, if Flus is fired, would you promote Shane to head coach? I think the only scenario where that happens is if this offense was like a top 5, top 8 offense, but went like 7-10 because the defense fell off a cliff. And how likely is that? I think the offense could be really good, but is this defense going to plummet so much where you're going to keep the OC, promote him to head coach, and fire the head coach? Like, think about how often that actually happens. It's not very often. Like, you almost wonder if the only chance of this happening is if it was like an interim situation where, like, say the Bears do get off to a disastrous start like last year. Say they're 1-6, 1-7, and Flus is just a mess. Well, then maybe you give Waldron the rest of the year as the head coach as like a trial period, and if they go 6-3 the rest of the way, okay, maybe you give them the job. But you just don't see these situations where you get into an offseason, fire the head coach, and promote the OC. Like, I actually can't think of the last example of that. All right, we got Carl here. Who will get the captaincy for the Bears this year? Well, if they stick to what they've done the last 2 years, which is 2 offensive captains, 2 defensive captains, and I think they do a special teams captain. Can't remember, actually. They may not. But plus a weekly captain, like a honorary captain. It'll be interesting to see if Caleb gets that. The team votes on it. So do they give it to a rookie quarterback? I think Cole Kmet could be a guy that becomes a captain this year. I think he's established himself as a leader on offense. DJ was a captain last year. He's certainly a candidate. I'd be surprised if Keenan Allen was his first year here, but he is a vet, so that could be a possibility. I think on defense, definitely Jalen Johnson is a guy I would expect to be a captain. Montez Sweat could be a candidate. I think Tremaine Edmunds as well. The point is, you got a lot more candidates to rep that Big C compared to what you've had in recent years. So that just means you've improved your football team. All right, we all know that we hate the Packers the most, FGB in the comments. But who do you hate more out of these two? Is it Detroit or Minnesota? I think if you asked us this question 18 months ago, you'd say the Vikings just because the Lions have been so damn irrelevant. But now they are relevant. So is it DET or is it MIN? I'm actually going with the Lions, man. They have one good year in 30, and it's they're on their high horse. So I'd probably type my DET for Lions. Paleo, do you see Braxton Jones getting extended someday, or do you want to see more? I personally want to see more. Well, he's not even eligible for an extension until after this year. I know you said someday, but I just want to make that clear. I think I need to see more. I do think he's been solid through 2 years. If he goes out there and has an awesome third year, he could be an extension candidate next year. I think he's a solid left tackle. The problem is, I don't know if he has the tools to continue to get way better. I think he can get a little bit better. I always think players can improve, but I do question how much better he can get because I don't think he's ever going to have a crazy strong anchor over at left tackle. So, can he be a top 10 left tackle? I think that could be in him, but I don't think he could ever be top 5. Skeptor, thoughts on Eddie Jackson signing with the Ravens? I think it's a good fit for Eddie. They lost Geno Stone to the Bengals. They kind of run that 3 safety defense, and Geno Stone's role last year was just to be a ball hawk center fielder type. He did not tackle hardly at all. I think that's probably the role Eddie Jackson will play. Just go cover. You don't need to be a tackler. Just go ball hawk, go roam. So I think that's probably what he'll do. I'm glad he's still playing. I kind of wondered if he would retire, but he's going to keep it rolling here. So good for Eddie. I think that's a good fit for him schematically, and obviously, reunites with Roquan Smith there, so that's cool for him. And Baltimore's always got good defenses, and now he's a part of that. So I'm happy for Eddie Jackson. All right, appreciate all your questions and comments here on this mailbag. If you have any more questions, hit me up. Social media. Also subscribe. Join us for our future live shows, youtube.com/BearsNow.